ETFs have revolutionized investing over the past few decades, made it much simpler to buy into assets that might be too high priced or just too fiddly to get exposure to. Let's get more from Valerie Grimba on the latest flows in ETFs. She is Director Global ETF Strategy at RBC Capital Markets. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Just update us on these so-called single stock ETFs.
Yes.
There's some mild leverage, there's some mild covered call exposure to give you a yield. We've seen them done on US giants, but now more and more on Canadian companies.
Yeah, it's a recent innovation here. So now we're seeing this raft of launches, I think over 30 products in the last 2 weeks on Canadian shares. So that's companies, you know, like Shopify or the Canadian banks or Enbridge or Suncor. So again, Canadian blue chip companies with a bit of leverage and a little bit of covered call to optimize yield.
The risk, of course, I guess, with any covered call ETF is if the stock soars, it gets called away from you and you can miss some upside.
Exactly. You can miss a bit of upside, but these are really for investors who are focused on the yield generating portion of this structure. And so we've seen 3 different providers. One of them is 9 Point High Shares come to market. And I think they're really talking to that Canadian ethos where they know and love regular monthly distribution and income on a single stock.
People love that, yeah. I mean, you could do a thing, I suppose, I'm going to liquidate 4% of my portfolio each year.
Move it.
But people but I know it's been a perennial favorite, a thing that pays a yield.
I think it's like the set it and forget it, right? It's sometimes harder to implement these strategies yourself, and it's time consuming and difficult, and you take that away and just an ETF does it for you.
So we're still seeing blistering inflows to ETFs as a whole?
It's like a tidal wave, Andrew. It's crazy. In Canada, $80 billion. That was the full year record number last year, and we still have 4 months left in the year. In the US, $800 billion. So it looks like we're on pace to get through that $1 trillion of inflows. And again, I think it's something 15% above last year's run rate, which is a record. So really, investors can't get enough of investing in an ETF as a preferred vehicle choice right now.
Of course, we are getting fewer and fewer stocks in Toronto. By one analysis, the number of actual operating companies on the TSX has dropped by half. I forget the time period. But ETFs are mushrooming. Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of like there's only so many musical notes, but we can create thousands and thousands of songs. So there's many different ways to like slice and dice and capture and think about investment strategies and opportunities. And ETFs are a really wonderful structure to express kind of musical notes or stocks or asset classes.
And I suppose when people buy or money goes into ETFs, they are buying the stocks.
Correct.
So it's just at one remove in that sense.
Exactly.
Gold ETFs, are we seeing a lot of dough going into gold plays?
Yeah, it's incredible. Again, kind of gold hitting fresh all-time highs has been a story of 2025, and we've seen it very recently in the last few weeks as well. And I've been calling it the gold versus Bitcoin race of 2025, this marathon. And there's been ebbs and flows at who's in the lead in that race. But right now, with the recent run-up and kind of push higher for gold prices, we've seen gold take the lead. They have about $25 billion of inflows compared to about $20 billion into Bitcoin ETFs.
Year to date.
Year to date.
Right, that's fascinating, but still pretty substantial into the old crypto ETFs.
Yes, on absolute numbers, very much substantial.
You say Bitcoin ETFs, do you mean crypto ETFs broadly? Or?
So I guess in that context, I was just comparing gold to Bitcoin as kind of the household name and the big dog. But to your point, we have seen a shift kind of into the other cryptocurrencies, Ether and Solana and XRP as well.
Right, and there's a fairly new one. But yeah, these things...
This is unique to Canada, actually.
Okay.
So Canada is the only place in North America where you can buy an ETF that owns Solana or XRP, and it owns the underlying cryptocurrency itself.
Oh, that's interesting. Now we showed Solana trading on the Nasdaq there, I think, but that might have been wrong. Or that was anyway.
Yes, and it'll be like listed and traded in Canada, and again, it's unique in that point. And I was just actually at a conference, and tokenization was the big topic du jour, right? And so these cryptocurrencies and these chains are part of that evolution, that technological evolution, and the next step forward there. So I think we're seeing Canadian interest broaden out kind of beyond the household name of Bitcoin.
It's really incredible. And all this new vocabulary that's coming up as well.
It is. It's like alphabet soup of acronyms. But, I think it is that next derivative. People saw the Ethereum move and are thinking about, well, trying to get ahead of that. What's going to be the next one that's going to contribute to the future of blockchain and and that technological innovation.
And I think you may have touched on this, but these all-in-one asset allocation ETFs, they're seeing inflows?
Yes, almost like a craze. I've kind of called this the Labubu of ETFs, Canadian ETFs, because they've been around for a long time, like the Labubu doll, but all of a sudden this year, massive inflows, massive adoption, really a cultural kind of almost revolution into them. But I think they'll have more staying power than Labubu doll, hopefully.
That's right, yeah.
More to offer there.
Yeah, I was watching South Park last night and they were having fun with the Labubu dolls. Anyway, claims that there were satanic links. That's South Park.
Not in the all-in-one ETF.
No. Anyway, Valerie, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
Valerie Grimba, Director, Global ETF Strategy at RBC Capital Markets.